This is so dumb.
Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the Wartown Times. Be sure to stay up to date by joining the Wartown Times Facebook group on the Facebook.
Greetings, it's your humble author, narrator, and fictional character from ZenInTheCar.com and TheWartownTimes.com, Daniel Lewis Crumpton. You know, people in Wartown, we're still having the discussion about November 7th, Tuesday's election between incumbent Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb and newcomer L. Ellis Carter. Apparently, the incumbent walked away with an apparent victory of 3 votes over L. Ellis Carter. And so that would be all well and good, but the story doesn't end there, as you know. The chair of the Houston County Democratic Party, Kristen Kiefer, has made some allegations against Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb with a press release and some video footage as well as, regular pictures, that Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb might have violated election law to procure that 3-vote lead by being inside of polling places before the polls closed outside of his precinct, which is a big no-no for candidates running for city office here in Georgia. You can't do that. And so that is a matter that's going to be discussed at the recount in Perry on Tuesday, November the 14th at 3 o'clock. So we obviously put something out about this story, and my friends in the Illuminati who owe me money, they hit me up on the bat phone and said there was another incident that occurred during this campaign involving Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb that I might find interesting and you might find interesting as well. And I was like, ooh, what do you got? And they told me that their story allegedly thus far is that there was an incident between Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb and a former candidate for city council, Stephen Baughier, in 2019. Stephen Baughier ran against Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb, so this is I haven't met Mr. Baughier personally, but he seems to be a stand-up guy, seems to be involved in his community, seems to be somebody who, wants things to be done the right way. And so, allegedly, what the story is so far, that we're being reported by the Illuminati, who owes me money, is that Mr. Baughier saw some signage, some political signage from both candidates, L. Ellis Carter as well as incumbent Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb, on some property here in Wartown where those signs were not supposed to be. The person who would have say-so over that, as publicly on Enough is Enough, Warner Robins, a Facebook group, stated that no political signage should be there. So allegedly, Mr. Baughier took both candidates' political signage up from this property at the person who would have a say-so over it at their request, and then did a courtesy text to incumbent Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb, the candidate who is now being accused of violating the law to procure a victory. As a courtesy call, Stephen Baughier allegedly sent him some messages to inform him that he had picked up both his sign as well as L. Ellis Carter's sign, and wanted to know what he wanted to do with them. The exchange between incumbent Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb and Mr. Baughier got a little heated, got a little dramatic, and so we asked the Illuminati, do you have screenshots? And they said that yes, they're the Illuminati, and they were perfectly capable of hacking into Mr. Baugher's phone and getting screenshots of the text exchange, which triggered further nonsense against Mr. Baughier when 3 Wartown Popo officers arrived at his home to do some kind of a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back interrogation scene in order to try to put torture cuffs on Mr. Baughier for theft by taking, allegedly. So I was like, that's very convenient, Illuminati who owes me money, because at the time we had one of our roving reporters, Rick the Wartown Recycling Bin, in the carport of Mr. Baughier to videotape the exchange between the 3 Wartown Popo officers that was sent to Mr. Baugher's home at the behest of Mr. Bibbity Bibb 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 Bibb, allegedly. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you those text messages on screen and reenact the exchange with News Tart Mona Lucia. Let you guys be the judge, and then we're going to show the footage between the Wartown Popo officers who were sent to Mr. Baugher's home in regard to this issue on October 17th during the election, and then we'll come back for a little bit of commentary. And but you guys can see for yourself during this exchange and ordeal whether or not Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb, the incumbent, and if nothing happens, 3-vote victor, if this is the guy that you want representing each and every one of you here in Wartown, you know. Here we go.
Beep, 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 beep. And now for a completely pointless outside shot with obligatory news tart Mona Lucia.
Thanks, Bunty. And it was here, at the corner of Kimberly and Lakeshore, where the War of the Signs on October the 17th began. And it was here, where there was one sign in front of the other sign, where one sign was getting more attention than this sign, so both of the signs were removed.
So, Mona, the obligatory news tot is back on the bridge of these Enterprise, and the alleged text messages that were hacked from Stephen Baugier's phone by the Illuminati who owes me money, we're going to have those on screen and do a back and forth. Does that sound like a plan, Mona?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Plan.
So, with the alleged text messages going back and forth, how about you play the part of Stephen Baughier, so you'll be reading his lines, and I'll do my best bibbity bib bib. So it looks like we have the script. You ready?
Ready.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead and start Stephen Baugier's part.
Hey, man, I have one of your signs picked up from the corner at the bottom of Kimberly. Should I take it to code enforcement for you to pick up, or do you have somewhere else I can take it? I grabbed Ellis's also, just FYI.
What? Is that your property?
It is not mine, but the owner requested I remove them. It has been made known plenty of times in the past that that location is not allowing signs. Do you want me to take yours somewhere?
If you can place it at the corner of Quarter and Everett, that would be great. Take a pic when it's done. Thanks for your help. I have never heard that before. I didn't know you were working close with them on the signs. Thanks for staying involved. You probably wish you could pull all of them up.
Now, Mona, the obligatory news tart, what do you see on your screen with the next screenshot sent from Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb, allegedly?
It looks like it is showing a screenshot of Mr. Stevens' contribution to Ellis's campaign.
Oh, wow. Okay. So while this text exchange is going on, Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb, if this is allegedly him, was taking the time to go see if Mr. Baughier was a campaign donor to his opponent. Okay. Anyway, your line.
I know this might be a big question with a long answer, but if not, have there been any initiatives that Mayor Patrick has wanted to implement that you've been against? Or anything that you've wanted to implement that she has been against? Or do y'all have a smooth working relationship?
Love her a lot. She's a great leader. She's a great mayor for our city. We'll be voting for her next term.
I hope we can count on that. Anyway, your line.
I have been out of the loop, so I am not up on all the city and what it's doing, but haven't heard anything bad, and some good things, like bringing the parade back to Watson, third Sunday food truck event, and purchasing commercial area land for future real downtown plans. I can get behind those things.
Okay.
And you probably know a lot more than those I just listed.
Yeah, okay. So somewhere in there, Bibbity Bibb Bibb allegedly sends this is a Modi and a Modi? Is that what you call this? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the...
All right. Yeah. And so are you seeing on your side the next thing from allegedly Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb from these hacked Illuminati screenshots from Stephen Baugier's phone?
Yeah.
I guess that's a Google Maps, right?
I believe of where the signs were located.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, man, this guy's active. So yeah, there's a screenshot of where the signs were allegedly, and so
I just talked to the chairman of Trees and Greens. He's given me permission to have my signs, but not my opponents. So if you could take my sign, my property back to where you got it from, thanks a bunch. Sorry.
Is that still Jim?
Even you told that the owner requested you to remove my sign. I hope you know that you broke the law by removing my sign.
Oh, goodness. Here we go. Happy to talk versus text.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm lost to the confusion of it. No! Getting it in writing. Here we go. You should stay in your lane.
Wow. So far off base. But okay. Please post all of this on Facebook or wherever you feel like you need to.
Uh-huh.
What law did I break? You should have me arrested. If you really feel like I did something wrong, who is the chairman who is permitting political signs on that lot? I'm happy to put back the signs if the chairman tells me to. I was told to remove them, but who thought I was the authority over those lots? If that is not the case, I am happy to correct. And this, sir, is why people don't like politics. I also pulled Ellis Carter's sign per Jim's request, which he has made clear in the past on Facebook is enough. The Facebook group, Enough is Enough, if I remember correctly, that no signs. Excuse me, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at right now. Okay, so in the past, in the Facebook group, Enough is Enough, if I remember correctly, that no signs are to be posted on Wellston Trees and Greens property, and specifically cited that Kimberly location in the past. Since I live near there, it is convenient for me to help him. I like Jim and figured it is easy enough for me to help with his wishes. Please let me know if there is someone in charge and I will put them back. My phone is at 9% charge and I am at my daughter's volleyball match, so unable to charge it. Please do not interpret my lack of responses for the next few hours as anything but my phone is low and I am preserving battery. And me supporting your opponent financially with a campaign donation in no way plays a part in my decision to pull those signs. Not sure why you felt the need to show me my contribution. I remember doing it. Nice try.
Okay. So, and of course, there's no more lines from allegedly Bibbity Bibb Bibb Bibbs in. So, are you getting the same story that I'm getting? Like, what is your perception of what's going on between these text messages that the Illuminati sent us?
Well, besides somebody getting their panties in a wad over a sign, there's a lot going on here. I mean, I don't even know. There's a lot of things going on here. I'm going to ask you, what do you think?
Well, here's what I know. I know that based off of this exchange that's allegedly between Stephen Baughier and allegedly Bibbity Bibb Bibb Bibb, I know that there was a lot of activity on the alleged Bibbity Bibb 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 side with looking up to see whether or not Stephen Baughier was a campaign donator to Ellis Carter, his opponent. He was Johnny on the spot with that. With the Google Maps of the corner of Kimberly and Lakeshore, he was Johnny on the spot with that, and he was also Johnny on the spot with calling whoever from Trees and Greens or whatever to get this. He was Johnny on the spot. Well, he was real active to get a lot of stuff done. And then he just went in the exchange with Stephen Baughier, who's like, hey, pick up the phone, let's have a man-to-man conversation. And you want to know why he went silent, News Tart Mona?
Why?
Because someone called the Popo. And we actually, from our roving reporter, Rick, the recycling bin of Wartown, who happened to be in the area the night of October 17th and recording from the carport of Stephen Baughier, we happened to have that video footage where 3 Wartown Popo officers came to respond to a call from somebody who didn't like their signs being moved around. So we're going to do that footage now. News Tart Mona?
Okay.
You're dismissed.
Okay. Bye.
It's cold out here. I'm in front of Heroes and Villains on Russell Parkway where I get my comic books, dog, obligatorily, because evidently when you do a news broadcast, you're just supposed to go to random places for, footage. Anyway.
What? What's going on? You tell me.
So we got called out about a campaign sign getting picked up off the side of the road.
Okay.
You know anything about it?
I do.
Okay. Want to give us your side, or?
I picked up a campaign sign on the side of the road, 2 of them. And per the request of who is a member of the board of the organization that owns the lot that those signs were on, because that organization is a nonprofit, not allowed to endorse candidates. So in the past, he has mentioned publicly that he did not want political signs on that lot. So political signs were on the lot. I believe it was over the weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday. I went by there, I reached out to him before I did it, said, listen, there's signs on this lot. Do you want me to take them up? He said, yes. I took them up. I reached out to Charlie Bibb, which I'm sure is the source of this, and that's cute, and said, Charlie, I have your sign. Can I bring it to you, or do you want me to take it up to code enforcement so you can pick it up? He never answered. He just went back and forth. It turned into a thing.
You picked it up Sunday?
I think it was Sunday.
Do you have, I guess, messages or anything that shows where you were conversating with the owner?
Jim?
Messages and stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay. You mind if we see that? Just to collaborate your story.
Did you collaborate the story with Charlie?
Yeah.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have like messages?
Yes.
Right now you can show me.
It's
So you
irrelevant.
can't say, is it irrelevant? If it's irrelevant, what do I have to show you mine?
Because it proves what you're saying. Because right now we're just going off hearsay.
That's
from
right.
you.
That's
From
right.
you,
You're
we're going off
here.
hearsay.
Really?
Just from you. You're the only person that's approved anything. Which is why we're here. We're allowing you to.
I have to prove something now?
I mean, if you want to prove what you're saying is accurate.
I'm happy to prove it in court.
Okay.
If
So-
that's what Charlie wants to do, I'm absolutely right in this, but if he wants to make it a big deal, I'm happy to do that.
So the reason I guess I'm trying to clarify from you is we have documentation from the person that's over that lot that allowed him permission to put that
Kent.
sign. So, okay.
Right?
That is a source, yes.
Yes. I understand. I'm saying what I did. I didn't talk to him. I talked to Jim. Chairman. I did not know he was no longer the chairman. I reached out to him whenever I saw the signs. I said, Jim, these signs are on your lot, or the lot, the Greens and Trees lot.
So he's no longer over that.
I don't know for sure if he is, I know that I've since learned today that maybe he is not the chairman, the head chairman, that he might still be on the board. But he said that he would talk with Kent, let Kent know to work it out with Charlie that they are not allowed to have political signs on that lot because they can't endorse candidates.
So just to, I guess, because there's been a lot of names thrown at me, so I'm just trying to piece it together. You spoke with someone who was a previous chairman, who is supposed to be speaking with the current chairman, which is the person that granted permission for signs to be placed on the lot. Is that lining up? I'm trying to piece the puzzle together there.
That is right.
Okay. You do have messages from him that says, hey?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have the sign with you?
I just dropped it off at code enforcement along with the other sign that I pulled up, which is his opponent. So it's not me versus one versus the other. I'm not taking sides here. It's just there's political signs on the lot. I pulled up both.
And you turned those into code enforcement before they closed, or?
No, they're up there now.
Okay, you dropped them off on the way here.
I did.
Okay, that checks out. All right.
So I know you say you have text messages from this ex-chairman, right?
He might be a vice chairman. I don't know, but he.
Okay. Well, you said
And I
a
don't-
second ago you
and
found
I don't
out
know for
after
sure.
the fact that he's no longer chairman, correct?
I think that is. the
That's
case,
what you
yes.
said just a few moments ago, correct?
Sure.
So
yes.
I'm asking because I'll just be honest with you, we do have text messages, you and Mr. Bibb's conversation,
Yeah.
right? So, and saying that you took his sign, right?
Yeah,
And you're not a
just
chairman,
For the
just
record, I
confirm-
reached out to him. Y'all understand that? I
And
reached
you're
out
not a
to him.
chairman of that
Wait,
property.
wait,
You have no legal authority to make decisions for that property. Is that correct? You're not associated with that. You're not a chairman yourself. You did not purchase that sign. That was Mr. Bibb's sign for that's his property, correct?
I think you are aware I did not purchase that sign. So.
Okay. I'm just asking rhetorical questions at some point.
Oh,
Right?
so rhetorical questions need no answers. Okay.
Okay. Just asking questions. So you don't have the sign. You're saying you just dropped it off at code enforcement. So if we go to code enforcement, we should be able to recover the property.
Unless someone else took it.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Did you
questions.
turn?
That
did
is
you
what
turn
I
it-
said just now, right? I
Yep.
just said I dropped it off.
You turn it over to somebody, or just sit it at the door?
Lights are off. If you want me, I'm going to go in my pocket.
Yeah.
You're fine.
I will show you a picture of the sign at code enforcement.
So
if
you
would like
just
to see
dropped
it.
it off. You didn't turn it over to anyone.
No, they're closed. Or there's I assume they're closed, so
Okay. So you just left it on their property?
I put it, yes.
Okay.
I put it
I'm just trying to
actually-
clarify who we need to go to. We don't need to go to anyone. We just need to go to the building and they're there.
They're right there in front, leaning against the front of the building.
Okay.
Both signs that I pulled up.
Who was the other sign with it? We didn't know there were two signs involved.
So you have two people running for city council.
Okay.
There's Charlie Bibbs running,
Right.
and Ellis Carter.
That was correct.
Ellis Carter is running for city council.
Okay.
You said you're gonna show us a picture where they dropped it.
If you'd like to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not while we're here?
There it is. See, there's Carter's and Bibbs is right behind it.
Okay. And just to clarify, just for our documentation, you're not willing to show us the messages right now. They granted your permission.
I'm happy if he wants to elevate it. If y'all want to make this a big deal over something dumb, that's
Well,
cool.
we're not out here for no reason. So that's up to you if you want to show us that now or later.
Listen, I'm good with showing it later.
Okay.
I have all the text. If he
Understood.
wants to make it bigger a deal, then that's fine.
Okay.
Discuss this information.
Yeah. You have a license handy?
I do.
You can either give me that or I can ask you you can give me your name, date of birth, and everything like that.
Y'all don't think that this is silly? For y'all
There's
three,
no difference
three
in theft by
cops.
taking. Me and him
It's
are
not theft by taking.
Me and him are a two-man training unit. This is our supervisor, okay? This is no different than a theft of anything.
Okay.
It's not your property. You have no legal authority to remove the property. You're not a code enforcement officer. You're not a law enforcement officer. You're not a property owner. You're not a chairman of the property. So that gives you no right to remove it.
So if someone asks me to do it,
Who's
I
not
can't
a
do
who's
it.
not a chairman of the board anymore? We have text
We
messages
don't
from
know
a
if
current. We have text messages from a current chairman giving Mr. Bibb permission to put the property there.
right?
Okay.
From that Mr. Bibb showed you before before Kent talked to.
You have text messages showing us stuff. You are claiming you have text messages that you're not willing us to show to corroborate your side of the story. That's all I'm saying. So, and you say if you want to bring report, that's absolutely fine. So, we got everything
Fine,
we need.
I'll-
So,
I
okay.
have to post
So,
them all there, and everybody can see
Mr. Boyer,
the complete exchange between Charlie Bibb and myself today,
yes, sir. We've seen
and
all
the
that.
exchanges between
Mr. Boyer.
me and.
I'm Sergeant Davis. I'm their supervisor. It's nice to meet you. I've just been listening and soaking it all in, okay? Whether this is silly or not, whether our opinion is that it's silly or it's not silly, is irrelevant to this, right? Because us as law enforcement officers have a duty, right, to uphold the law. If a victim wants to press charges and I have probable cause, then it is my mandate to do so. Whether I think it's a case that should be made or think it's a case that shouldn't be made. Some cases I don't have the option to not follow through with, right? I do have officer discretion on some things, but there are some other cases that I can't, right? So we're not out here just to mess with you, right?
I understand y'all aren't out here just to mess with me. I understand the phone call was made.
Whether
just to
it's
mess with me.
silly, whether it's not silly, it really doesn't matter because I can't make that opinion and neither can
Right.
these two officers.
Right.
I have to remain in the middle, and so do they. I'm not taking one side or the other. All I can do is look at the case according to the law and look at it against that and decide whether or not there is a charge or there's not a charge. And in this particular instance, and what as Officer Offutt's already told you, there is property and it's legally placed somewhere by Georgia law, right? Well, what the board wants and all of that other stuff is not Georgia law. That's a civil issue, right? If the property owner says, I don't want something here, then the property owner can remove it, or a designee of the property owner. It is my understanding from listening to y'all's conversation that you are not a designee of the owner. You are not the property owner, and I mean the property, the piece of land. You don't own the land, and you don't represent the owner of the land. You make contact with somebody who turns out is no longer a representative of the owner of the land. Used to be, he isn't anymore. Therefore, he has no legal standing to tell you what you can and can't do on that property. Now, code enforcement or a law enforcement officer has the ability to go on there and remove an illegally placed sign. if it's illegally placed. Looking at the city code section, looks like it's probably legally placed. So that kind of rules that side out. Then what you get into is whether the property owner wants it there or not. If the property owner has produced documents and given them to the person and said, you were allowed to place a sign here, then it's legally placed as far as the property owner is concerned. What would have been probably easier, in hindsight's 2020, what would have been easier is instead of going and grabbing it and then doing this whole, do you want me to give it to you or give it to code enforcement and all this other mess between you and Mr. Bibb, it probably would have just been easier for you to make a phone call to code enforcement and go, hey, there's 2 signs, they're placed right here. I think they're illegally placed. I'm opening up a code enforcement complaint. And let code enforcement go look at it. If they determine they're legally there, then they stay. If they determine they're illegally there, then code enforcement pulls the signs. And they go contact Mr. Bibb and say, here's your signs back, sir. Here's your property. They're not supposed to be there. Don't put them there again. And let code enforcement handle it. But you getting in the middle of it is probably not the best decision. What's happened has happened, right? We're not going to go there now. What we're going to do at this point is decide, do we have probable cause to make an arrest for theft by taking? Which is what it is. Did you take someone else's property that doesn't belong to you? If the judge decides that they do, then we go where we go. Because we got a victim who has lost their property because you took it and they want to press charges. If the judge says, no, I don't think so, this isn't a good case, then that's the end of it. But that's kind of where we're at with it.
Wow, theft by taking. These 3 Wartown Popo officers are really looking for any reason to put torture cuffs on Mr. Baughier and take him on down to the House and County Detention Center, where we, the residents, pay to have flesh and blood human beings put into cages on a regular basis. Just food for thought. Anywho, these guys seem very eager to do that to Mr. Baughier, and why? Well, apparently, they are there at the request and behest of City Councilman, the Honorable City Councilman, and incumbent Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb Bibb, who apparently thought that the most Christian thing that he could do is call armed guards to the home of Mr. Baughier on October the 17th to have him put in shackles and taken away. You know, I don't know what church Mr. Bibbity Bibb 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 goes to and what New Testament they're preaching from. But last time I read the New Testament, the guy who was calling armed guards to, you know, shackle a political dissident or somebody that he wanted something from was Judas. But that's just me. Anyway, we thought this was a relevant story. We are going to be uploading the full 23-minute video encounter between Mr. Baughier and the Warner Robins Popo officers. Thank you to the Roving Reporter, Wartown Rick, the recycling bin, for being in Mr. Baugher's carport that day to get us the footage of this encounter. So we are going to upload that. I got a little bit more commentary on the exchange between the officers and Mr. Baughier. But we wanted to get this out there to you to you know, let you decide for yourself before November the 14th, Tuesday at 3 p.m. when the Board of Elections meets to discuss the recount and the possible violation of election law committed by Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb Bibb. So another thing I want to leave you with is this, you know, if it is proven that in fact Charlie Bibbity Bibb 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 was inside the Mossy Creek polling place in violation of the all-powerful OCGA fictional laws, if it's proven that that in fact was he, what should occur? If it's a misdemeanor, what should occur? I mean, in the case of Mr. Baughier, if it goes south in this encounter, he's going away to a cage. And then he's going to have to defend himself in court. So if it's proven that Charlie Bibbity Bibb Bibb is in fact inside the Mossy Creek polling place when he's not supposed to be there, should the full weight of the OCGA law come down upon him, or should he just, you know, get a slap on the wrist and everything's cool? Looking forward to hearing what you guys think about it. Put your comments wherever you're seeing this, and but you better get involved because you're paying for all of this. You know, me personally, I'm going to get something out of it. What I'm getting out of it is hilarity because it's a comedy. But the other thing is, get involved. I don't know, man. He's supposed to be representing the people of Wartown. And I don't, in my mind, envision the people of Wartown the type of folks that just call armed guards on one another for nitpicky things like signs being moved around, and you have a temper tantrum. Seems a bit silly to me. Anyway, you guys be the adjudicators over the matter. What do you think? Do you think this is appropriate for city council person to call armed guards to a man because signs removed? Come on, man. Peace.
Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the Wartown Times. Be sure to stay up to date by joining the Wartown Times Facebook group on Facebook.
I'm gonna have you arrested.